Welcome in, Tamers. Today we're doing something of a little bit of a different video, and I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts as well in the comments below. I posted this little thread on Reddit about 3 days ago, at the time of recording this, and it seemed to spark a little bit of debate across the community. Not a massive debate, I'd say. As you can see, it's only got 20 upvotes and 78 comments, but this is massive for me, right? This is giant, where my posts normally get like 2 or 3 upvotes. But the question was, if you could have one card added to the DigimonTCG at this current time, what would it be? And I'd love to hear your reasonings why. Again, feel free to discuss it down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. But I thought we'd go through a couple of these and take a look at things that people have suggested. So let's kick it off straight away. We have such an amazing one here, and it is a highly debated one that I know even the cross-heart lovers among you would love this as well, and that is a Shoutmon Cross 2 that has the cross-heart trait. We can see this, that if we go into Cross 2, sorry for the slight flashbang there, we go into the Cross 2 here, we can see that it is a red-green, of course. It uses Shoutmon and Ballistamon, and it is also treated as Shoutmon and Ballistamon. It has Material Save too, but it's only an enhancement Digimon. Where's the crossheart trait? This uses 2 crossheart pieces, so this cannot be used in crossheart at all. And we can see, like, we've got a couple of other people, especially like these top 1% commenters, who agree that the cross 2 should be a crossheart trait. And I would also like to see that too. I'd like to see either a revision or even an errata to just let this happen. It's a level 4 Digimon that can only evolve over red or green. It doesn't even have the crossheart trait evolution here. So it's very bizarre to see, like, just this enhancement that doesn't enhance anything at all, right? Sure, it gains you an additional 1 at the start of main, but there's just no reason to run it in the crossheart deck, especially with the Cross 7S being able to suck up any crossheart traded Digimon, right? It just makes no sense. On to the next one. I commented on this one because I do think that Sendromon needs a bit more support, and I know that my boy Digidread is also going to say the same here, that Sendromon needs some support. An absolute amazing deck and a cool archetype looking around the overclock and like puppet and token sort of playstyle, but it just didn't get that much that it needed. And this person here is saying for a play cost of 8, a Sendromon Ace, Digivolve of 5, which is a bit steep in my opinion, but it kind of makes sense. Because again, it's doing the same sort of Digivolve over playcost 10 or higher with Sendromon, kind of like how Zephagramon got his Ace, and Counterblast Digivolve makes sense, Overclock of course, Native Blocker, which is interesting. But on play when Digivolving, you may play 1 familiar token. Then for each Digimon you have on field, give one of your opponent's Digimon minus 3000 until the end of their turn. Now that is a good Ace effect in my opinion. Not the most amazing, and somebody down here saying that it should be until the end of your turn, but I feel like until the end of the opponent's turn we're seeing that a lot more at the moment, especially with these yellow cards. The final thing here is, of course, start of main phase, you may play 1 familiar token. So 50-50, I mean it gives you the overclock at the end of every turn off of the start of main, so that's nice. But you don't really get anything else off of the when Digivolving. If it was to be a when Digivolving when attacking, I can see it being a little bit more useful, but that also might be a little bit too over the top in my opinion. So if it was when Digivolving when attacking until the end of your turn, that's better, because Overclock will be able to trigger, and it would obviously have to become a once per turn, that sort of thing, because then you'd be able to make use of this body on board again. But I guess if you're overclocking, you're going -1 to get another. It's all that sort of stuff. I can't quite remember what Familiar does. Let's quickly jump back. More flashbang off of looking at these cards. Apologies. Let's look at Sendry. Which one is it that spawns the token? On deletion, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000. Yeah, so I mean, like, if you delete a Familiar off of Overclock, you're being able to get the minus 3000 again anyway. So it's kind of that toss-up. But that's Sendromon Ace. I might consult Digidread about this and see what he says, and if I do get a reply, it's going on screen, of course. So big ups to Digidread and the Sendry community. It's an absolutely amazing deck. I'd love to see more support. Now this person here is saying that it would of course get banned or limited immediately upon release, but something like a black gear card that can temporarily steal opponent's Digimon could be fun. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that's maybe something to do with the anime. Again, I'm not majorly into the Digimon anime, and I'm still learning about that stuff myself, but being able to steal your opponent's cards is kind of broken. You then see that people are talking about it could be forced to attack, give it a negative inheritable, things like that, memory loss, discard a card, which is very nice. But we do also see what Digimon's Drill is saying here. One other thing I like about Digimon card game, never give my opponent's cards to manhandle, yep, put a token on their side of the field, which is far better in my opinion. But I can see what this guy up here is saying with the Black Gear card, to maybe control your opponent's Digimon in some way, shape or form. We have that in the form of forcing your opponent to attack at the start of main. It's not quite the same, I must say. But I do like this idea of what Blast Caliber is saying, where it's give it a negative inheritable, give it a discard a card, a memory loss, that sort of thing. We have it in the form of Ice Wall, where you're debuffing your opponent's Digimon for the turn. But I think maybe an inheritable would maybe force your opponent to consider swinging to get rid of a Digimon, hurting their own Digimon in order to like get rid of that negative inheritable sort of thing. And yet we can see we have the training cards coming up. Not the training cards, what's it called? It is training, I think, right? The level up cards coming in EX9 with the version 1, version 2. I can't remember the exact term, apologies. But we still don't know how that's going to interact yet. We know that we have face down cards, but what's going to happen with them? Because if you get de-digivolved into a face down card, I assume the stack is just going to get trashed. So it's going to be rather interesting to see like where stacks, and if we will ever get a negative inheritable, especially again with training. Like, if you train, you don't get as much buffs and that sort of stuff. Your Digimon becomes ill and all of that sort of stuff. On to the next one, we see somebody saying Pendulum Action, which makes a lot of sense because we can see we're getting a lot of like Pendulum Digimon at the moment. So it's a white option card with a 3 use cost, and it has the traits Nature Spirits, Deep Savers, Nightmare Soldiers, Wind Guardian, ME and VB. I can't remember what these ones are. Something blue, I think that one is. Either way, let me know down in the comments. I'm still stupid at this stuff, but the effect is, while you have a Digimon or face-up security card that shares a trait with this card, you may ignore this card's requirements. Main effect: reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 2 cards that share a trait with this card to your hand, and return the rest to the bottom of the deck in any order, then place this card in battle area. Delay effect, gain 2 memory. So it's like a memory boost for these domains, right? And it's a really cool idea. I do like that, especially seeing as we're seeing a lot of Nature Spirits. Deep Savers keeps coming back in waves, unintended. Wind Guardian has just been a new release in the case of BT21, but again, it's not got that much support, and we know that it's going to get some support because we can see Zafargamon has the Wind Guardian symbol, I think, right? If I'm remembering that correctly. But yeah, that would be really, really interesting to see, especially seeing as Nature Spirit is, again, we'll be getting new support. This person says October, is that correct? I'm not too sure, I can't remember. Then I'm going to skip over this one a little bit because that's a whole nother conversation where we can have where this person wants a busted tier 0 Diaboromon X antibody. We know that Diaboromon X antibody has been on the hype list for a long, long time, and it's been a hot contender in Bandai's surveys that they do. So we're going to skip over this and maybe have another conversation another day. It's also sparked a massive conversation, as you can see there. A Digimon Emperor that stops Blast Evo, or the effect of it on your turn. So this is kind of countering the hand counter that that we're seeing a lot of happen with the aces at the moment. And I can see argument for this. We have a Digimon Emperor that stops level 3s being able to raise, essentially, right? So it counters those decks that push up on level 3. It countered Ukomon for a very, very long time. Ukomon, Numemon, that sort of deck. And it's a rather interesting conversation to have, where do we want to kind of start restricting blasting, seeing as your opponent can basically freely do it on an attack. Sure, okay, there's Digimon that become immune to Digimon effects, and that makes a lot of sense. But that still doesn't stop the blast effect from going off to maybe recover, to maybe trash your sources, maybe unsuspend a Digimon to gain more DP, to minus DP on a board. Like, it doesn't shut down the rest of the blast, which is fair. That is a fair thing to do. But I think being able to completely stop a blast evo might be a smart idea, and I'd be down to see that. Me as a tamer, of course. People want themselves in the game. We've got another one, another Agumon, so the guy at my locals who hates Agumon/Greymon support has yet another meltdown, which makes sense. But he's being serious, he wants an upgrade to EX1 Machine Dramon. The original is still amazing, but love the playstyle, big machine slam decks, very nice. I mean, expensive manager 2-1-1. If you're that interested in heavy slam machine decks, go play Raidenmon. Raidenmon very funny at the moment, especially in regulation battle, I must say. We're looking here at an Etamon ex-ante or Etamon Sutamon thematic ace. I mean, it has been a while since Sukamon and Etamon has had support fully, right? We've been having support for it every now and then, but not mainstream, not run it down sort of thing. So it would be interesting to see where that goes. Does Sukamon and Etamon have a tamer? That's a question for DigiLogan here. I'm not too sure. Who would it be, if anybody? I guess Sukamon can kind of use the dual tamer from the chess stuff. It's not the same. We have another full card effect. Thank you to those people that actually wrote out like full card effects. It is greatly appreciated, I must say. The desire to fight alongside my partner is the card's name. It is a 5-cost red card. However, if you control a tamer with the name Takato, Henry, Rika, or Rio, you can play this card without paying the color requirements. Those of you that know me, this card caught my eye because it has the name Rio in it, and I love my Justimon boy. Main effect. You can play 1 level 3 Digimon with the same color as a tamer you control without paying the cost and give it rush for the turn. Then place this card in battle. Okay, so if you're Rio, it's black, Rika is yellow, Henry is green, Takato is red. When it gets into it is the delay. The delay effect of the desire to fight. When one of your Digimon are deleted and you control a tamer with Takato, Henry, Rika, Rio, you may play 1 level 6 Gallantmon, Mega Gargo, Sakuya, or Justimon that shares the color with one of your named tamers. Then place one of the named tamers from your field and 1 Guilmon, Terriermon, Renner, or Mono from your trash with the same color as the Digimon played by this effect as its bottom Digivolution card. So it's kind of like a pseudo warp, it's kind of like a pseudo biomerge in that sense, where you are able to essentially play out the big boy card. In this case, for me, it would be Justimon. Load up that Monodramon, and then you have a bigger Digimon ready to go because you've lost a Digimon, right? And again, if you're playing Archetype, then it would be really cool. The security effect is you can play 1 Guilmon, Terriermon, Renamon, or Monodramon from your trash for a reduced cost of 1, then play this card into the battle area. Place this card in the battle area, sorry. So yeah, an absolutely amazing one, and I've said here as well, it would go fire in a Justimon deck because it would force everybody to start using the Monodramon Strike-Damon, like bottom end, and it kind of makes it archetypal, and it buffs those decks that kind of just needed a little bit more, that have no protections, that have no, oh I lost a Digimon, what do I do now, sort of thing. And it would be really cool to see. I didn't even upvote this, there you go, have an upvote. Chimeramon with the Digicross requirements of Greymon, Monochromon, Garuru, Erdra, Kuwaga, Kabuteri, Anja, Devi, and Skull Grey. There's probably some magical lore things, but I'm not too smart on this. But that would be nice to see another Chimera, which I'm kind of happy for. Parallelmon. Now I did Google Parallelmon. His design is very cool, I must say. And I think having it be able to delete a tamer would be really, really cool. So having tamer deletion would be nice. It would counter all the hybrid stuff we're getting again. We haven't had massive hybrid support, don't get me wrong. Not massive hybrid support. But being able to get rid of some of these hybrid tamers would be cool. A white memory boost is interesting. Because I said for what utility? White Digimon card? Literally for Eosmon. Understandable. I mean, I feel that. Eosmon does need something. But that's pretty cool. Terramon X Antibody? I mean, that would be cool. I've not looked at the design. But Terramon X Antibody would be really cool. 2-color green card with Overclock. Trinity Burst into EX for Terramon. I mean, yeah, sure. A rework to Examon X Antibody. And that's rather interesting. Because we've only just recently had Examon X Antibody. And it is, once again, keyword soup. It has Piercing, Blocker, and Evade. So it does the things that the original Examon does. Why am I looking at it in real life? I need to show you guys. My apologies. Examon. This is a mistake searching just Examon. Where is he? He's not on the website I'm using. That's why I wasn't showing you guys. So I'll just read it out. When Digivolving, suspend all of your opponent's Digimon and Tamers, then delete one of their suspended Digimon or Tamers. Very nice. You don't even need Examon in sources for that. Or X Antibody. The all turns effect, when this Digimon is suspended, it unsuspends. Typical Examon stuff, right? No different to normal. Then if Examon or X Antibody is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, trash your opponent's top security. So in normal Examon that makes sense. It does feel a little bit underwhelming, don't get me wrong. However, it's the first, I believe, oh no, I was going to say it's the first, it's the first level 7 X Antibody. That's not true. It's also not true because we have Alphamon or Ryukin. I'm chedding out my bum, don't you worry everyone. But I agree, instead of blue, red, green, make it blue, black, green. That'll be a Joggerus between Slayer and Break only as an alternate Evo. Problem is with yes, that might work, but at the same time you've got the new level 5, which is Wingdraw and... what is it? Is it Wingdraw and Breakdraw? No, that's not right. What are the two level 5s are? Wingdraw and Groundraw, that's it. Which count as Slayer and Break for DNA, right? And have the clause, if Examon, Slayerdramon, or Breakdramon are in the evolution sources, this Digimon cannot have its Digivolution cards removed or be de-digivolved. Everything else can stay? I don't know. Like, okay, yeah, sure, Examon has no protection. But you've got your evade, so you can't be deleted. If you become suspended, you unsuspend one time. If your opponent suspends you in their turn and you have Examon or Exanti, then you unsuspend and burn a security. Yeah, sure. It's one of those things, but I don't know. I think for a first pass at an X Antibody like Digimon, then this is perfectly fine. But again, I can see merit for that. Let's have an upvote. Gigawaru Monzemon. Black-purple DNA from 2 level 5 with Monze Nume. So I'm not even sure if Gigawaru Monze is officially recognised or if it was just one of the weird one-off Cross Wars things. Again, I can't tell, but that sounds pretty cool. Cool, Arcadimon, we're getting in Hacker Slumber apparently. Thank you, PCN24454, thank you very much. Somebody wants Go Ito mode, of course. Neo Devimon, of course. Graceful Charity or Demonic Tutor. Yeah, we kind of do already have Graceful Charity. Some of the purple cards are Draw 3 Trash 2. It just happens, and it just so happens that they are also now limited. But it is what it is. Medieval Gallant Death X Mon Ruin mode. I mean, hell yeah. That's Death X. That's the new Death X right there. You there are the new Death X. Pretty out there, but card that already card that forces opponent to discard a card. We do kind of already have this in Bravomon X Antibody, if I remember correctly. But as I say here, something a little bit more generic would be cool. Unwavering Will, basically making more Marcus. I downvoted this simply because this is too broken. Sure, it cost 5, but but you're making you're playing a Marcus. You're making a Marcus a Digimon that has Rush and Collision. Then that Marcus may attack. If you make it so that the Evolve Marcus becomes a Digimon in that turn, Rush and Collision, you swing with Marcus, evolve into your big boys, then like you just do what you do in Shine already. Shine doesn't need this, in my opinion. That is just my opinion though. Especially seeing as it has, if one of your Digimon were to leave a battle area by an effect delay, sure you can't do this the same turn as Marcus, but whatever. Return a Marcus Daemon to your hand to prevent that Digimon from leaving the battle area. Cool, it does exactly what the burst mode does, but in an option form, and allows you to get that really cool Marcus Rush Swing Evolve 3000 minus DP whatever shenanigans off, right? Not needed. Not needed in my opinion. A floodgate that is literally players cannot use options, that's never going to happen. We're almost there, everyone. Almost there. Something similar to Ash Blossom. Hand traps, we don't need them. Get them out of here. Each O2 Digi-Egg is a field spell. Yes, no. We don't really need more field spells, but it looks like we're going that way with, like, the adventure ones. What were the adventure ones called? I forget the names of them and I don't have them to hand. Ganai's House and whatever the other one is. Yeah, I don't really think we need it. Something that may appear in EX9 is a Mount Infinity option. Goes face up into security, yeah, of course. While face up, it gives protection to your level 6 machines in some form. Also, security effect to play an analog man for free. I don't know, a lot of people are really wanting Machine Dramon support, from what I can see here. And that's rather interesting. But at the same time, Machine Dramon's in one of them weird sticky sort of situations where it's very strong, and any level 5 cyborg or machine it gets as support is support, right? So I don't know if they're looking to print any Machine Dramon anytime soon. I don't think because EX9 is all of the V-Pets, right? I don't think Machine Dramon is in any of the V-Pets. Version 1 to 5. I could be wrong, but you know. OG Shatmon DX, that would be cool. I'd like to see that. Would be cool to see it go back. Armageddon Ace. Just fed up of Diaboromon, cool. Kunamon. 3 to 5 cost white option that removes Tamers, a universal Tamer. Yeah, I touched on it earlier. It would be nice to just touch hybrid decks, really, if you see what I mean. More Ghoulmon, so like Ghoulmon Black as a level purple deck out win condition. Yes, I do agree. Giant growth, not too sure what this person means here. Yanmamon. More cool things. Cool, more fusion stuff. Block Digital Program common. Block Digital Program. Common option that can ignore color restrictions as long as you have a Tamer. 5 or more memory. Choose a Digimon name. Disable all text of any Digimon with that name. So you are shutting, for the rest of the game, sorry. So you are shutting down an entire archetype for one game. And I literally said, if you're turning something off for the whole game, it would have to be more than 5 cost. There is no shot, no shot Bandai will ever print 5 cost, turn an archetype off. Because you just name, choose a Digimon name, disable any text of a Digimon. Cool, you just, like, if your opponent's playing Gallantmon, you see, like, the Galemon's in the back, and you just play this option and go, cool, I named Gallantmon. Gallantmon is disabled for the rest of the game. I mean, ideally, you'd probably want to start off Gallantmon X Antibody at this point in time, but you know. And finally, to wrap it all up, another BT21 card that came out recently is a Satellite Mon that actually uses the App Fuse mechanic instead of evolving on 3 Musketeer. It makes so much sense. Bandai, why did you make him evolve on 3 Musketeer? But honestly, again, let me know down in the comments what your one card would be from the TCG, and I'd love to discuss this more with you further. If you enjoyed this style of video, I'd be interested to hear what you guys think as well. So hit the subscribe button for more discussion topics like this, and we'll ramble again another day. Stay safe everyone, have a good day.